Hello, welcome to Bryan Living and Learning. I'm Alan Brugman with the City of Bryan.
And I'm Sandy Ferris with Bryan ISD. Well, the district has launched a reading awareness campaign this semester we'll tell you about, and we'll get a look at the sights and scenes from this year's Alamo Day.
And the City of Bryan will tell you about the details from Bryan Police Department's upcoming Citizen Police Academies, and we'll tell you about a public meeting that's taking place at Sam Houston Elementary dealing with Canterbury Drive improvements. But before we get to those stories, we'll take you to the most recent City Council meeting where Bryan Mayor Jason Bianski was presented with the Salvation Army Bell Ringers Challenge Trophy.
Well, as most of you know, during the month of November and December, the Salvation Army has its Red Kettle Drive. And this year, Bryan and College Station together pitched in and raised $117,000 to help the Salvation Army out this year. All that money goes to help fund the programs and the people who come for services. Also during this time, we have the Mayor's Bell Ringing Challenge. And the mayor here, Bianski, versus College Station's Nancy Berry. Of course, Nancy couldn't show up this year, so the Mayor Pro Tem, David Rusnick, showed up. Together, the two mayors in 1 hour raised $4,300. And as a resident of Bryan, I'm proud to say that once again this year, Mayor Jason Bianski won the Mayor's Bell Ringing Challenge. So this time we'll go ahead and present him with the trophy to stay here in Bryan for another year. Also, I have a little token of our appreciation. We have a crystal bell that I'd like to give to you. Of course, you got your hands full right now, but we just want to extend our gratitude to you for doing that, and thank you for giving the effort that you do, because you come out guns blazing every year.
I have to admit, we've got the City of Bryan's on there the whole time, and the real winners are the Salvation Army. And the folks that need to be thanked are our City Council, our citizens, our staff that works here, the neighborhood associations, all the people that were shopping at Walmart for their contributions. Day in and day out, Robert Horton and I were counting the money afterwards, and we had a lot of pennies and a lot of nickels and dimes, and you were our witness. Yeah. We had a lot of $1 bills, and it all adds up. There were a lot of generous people there, and it amazed me that I would say just about everyone that walked through those doors donated to the Salvation Army. So it's very important that we give back to our community, and year in and year out, whether I was on the council or as mayor participating, the generosity of our citizens is amazing. And again, I want to thank the City of College Station, Mayor Pro Tem Dave Resnick, and all the citizens of College Station for contributing for this worthwhile cause. Our police station, our firefighters, our policemen, men and women that were out there, the Brazos Valley Bombers, there were a lot of folks involved, and again, so when we put all politics aside, people on all walks of life, all sides of the fences show up to help those in need. And again, I want to thank everyone for participating. And again, Salvation Army is real winners this time, and we thank you for all you do in our community.
Thank you.
Well, congratulations to the mayor and everyone who chipped in to make that a winning effort.
Yeah, and as we just saw, the trophy's covered with nothing but the City of Bryan labels on there, so I'm sure we'll be looking to add to that winning effort in the holiday season of 2012.
Well, speaking of the mayor, he helped us kick off our reading awareness campaign this semester by having a mayoral proclamation on National Reading Day. National Reading Day is an annual event which celebrates and encourages reading for younger children. Bryan ISD Superintendent Dr. Tommy Wallace read a book to a group of 3rd grade students at Kemp Elementary before introducing Bryan Mayor Jason Bianski, who read a special proclamation for the day.
I appreciate the opportunity to be here today. I've got a proclamation from the office of the mayor that I'd like to read to you today. It says, whereas the Bryan Independent School District is committed to providing a solid foundation of reading instructions to its students, and whereas research shows that the strong parent involvement in developing a child's reading skills is vital in later academic success, and whereas reading develops the foundation for a child to become a lifelong learner. Now, therefore, I, Jason Bianski, as mayor of the City of Bryan, acting on behalf of the Bryan City Council and all the citizens that live in the City of Bryan, do hereby proclaim Monday, January 23rd, 2012 as National Reading Day and encourage parents to become partners in their child's education by pledging to read to and with their children on a daily basis.
Sam Houston Elementary celebrated the winners of an accelerated reading contest by having A&M sports announcer Dave South do a play-by-play of a winning score for Texas A&M for each winner.
A&M needs some points right here because time is running out. Wilson brings the team up to the line of scrimmage. He's got a split end on the right. He's got a flanker on the left side. And he's got a tight end also on that left side. He's got two running backs lined up behind him and a true eye. There's the snap. Wilson drops back. He's looking over the middle. He's still looking. Now he's being chased out of the pocket, running to his right. Looks like he's decided to run for it. Yes, folks, he's going to score a touchdown, and the Aggies are going to win the ball game. They just beat Texas.
My name's Ferries. I go to Brother High School. I play middle linebacker. I went to Sam Houston.
Several local high school and college athletes were on hand to work with students on a variety of football and basketball drills. Here are a few tips to help you with reading to your child. Start by reading a favorite children's book. You can also read magazines, newspapers, recipes, instructions to a favorite game, and signs. Use different voices and expressions for different characters in the book. Let all readers in your family read out loud. Take turns reading sentences or paragraphs, even if it takes more time to let the younger children read. For older children, read newspaper headlines and ask the children what the story is about. Read the story together and decide if the headline is a correct summary of the story.
Well, Sandy, you mentioned this is a semester-long initiative. What's next in the plans?
Well, in the second phase, we'll have a book donation, and we've got some community organizations that are going to help us purchase books for students to take home of their very own just before spring break.
Well, the workflow has recently improved at the Bryan Animal Center thanks to the installation of some permanent kennels. When the city took over operations at the animal sheltering facility at 2207 Finfeather Road 5 months ago, they weren't left with much. Since that time, while awaiting their own kennel order, the city made do with foldable, portable kennels. But as of January, the Bryan Animal Center is now home to their own permanent kennels.
Now we have dog runs, so when we come in, they're much easier to clean, because before we were having to take the trays out of each crate, sometimes take the whole crate outside to spray down, bleach down, clean up, and then bring the dog back in and put it back in its crate. Now we can take the dog out for a walk, spray the run down, sanitize it, bleach it, hit it with a squeegee, and we're done.
As always, for more info on the Bryan Animal Center, please visit bryananimalcenter.com. The Bryan Police Department is now accepting applications for the spring versions of their Citizens Police Academies. The English version will meet every Thursday night beginning February 9th. Here's a PSA with all the info. Ever wonder what it's like to be a police officer? Well, now's your chance. The Bryan Police Department offers the citizens of Bryan a chance to see the inner workings of their police department through the Citizens Police Academy. The 10-week course meets one night a week from 6:30 until 9:30. You'll learn all about the different divisions and responsibilities of the BPD and experience hands-on workshops. At the end of the course, CPA class members are given an opportunity to have a ride-along experience with a patrol officer. Download an application at bryantxpolice.com today. There will also be a Spanish version of the Citizens Police Academy, and that will meet on Monday nights starting February 6th. And for all you Spanish speakers, we created a PSA for that one as well.
¿Quieres saber lo que es ser un policía? Pues ahora es su oportunidad. La policía de Bryan les ofrece a los ciudadanos de Bryan una oportunidad de ver por adentro su departamento con la Academia de la Policía de los Ciudadanos. El curso de 10 semanas se reúne una noche por semana de 6:30 hasta 9:30. Aprenderá todo acerca de las divisiones y responsabilidades diferentes del BPD y experimentará talleres prácticos. Al fin del curso, miembros de la clase tienen la oportunidad de tener una experiencia actual con un oficial en su patrulla. Descargue una aplicación en bryantxpolice.com hoy.
In order to address some traffic issues around Sam Houston Elementary, the City of Bryan staff, along with some BISD staff, has planned a public meeting to talk to the residents about the problem. The City of Bryan has scheduled a public meeting to discuss traffic issues in the area surrounding Sam Houston Elementary School in Bryan. The meeting will be held in the cafeteria at Sam Houston Elementary at 6:30 p.m. on Tuesday, February 7th. City of Bryan and Bryan ISD staff members plan to present improvement options for Canterbury Drive leading into Copperfield at the meeting.
Each year, students in 7th grade Texas history classes at Sam Rayburn have an opportunity to learn about the Alamo in a unique way.
In class, usually we start with teaching all the battles of the Alamo. We start with Gonzales and go through Goliad and San Antonio, and then in history, they actually took a break during Christmas time, so that's what we do now. And so we did that, and we came back and we started talking about the Battle of the Alamo and Goliad Massacre and then San Jacinto, and talked about all those events and how all that occurred and how Texas won their independence. And then we bring this in because this is the most important battle that people remember, the Battle of the Alamo. Even though the Texans lost, it still was very significant. You know, it had a big impact on the Texans, the rallying cries, and just how bad they were defeated. You know, it became their motivation. And so we organize this event. We bring in, this is our 7th year, as you were saying, and we have 7 different guests this year. So we have a rookie this year with us, so that's kind of neat to always introduce somebody new to it. And Coach Jones does a lot of the field work on this. He gets all of our sponsors, Monograms and More, Cornerstone Mortgage, Prosperity Bank this year. We'd like to thank all 6 of them that came this year. We had one lady, Mrs. Stephanie LeBaron, who couldn't make it due to work, but she was a part of Jim Bowie's caretaker in the movie. Another guy is Sid Galindo. He's a Bryan guy. He went through St. Joseph's and then graduated in Bryan High School. He played the part of Damasio Jimenez, a Tejano fighter inside the Alamo. Another guy, Joe Perez, he was Colonel Juan Morales in the movie, so he was a Mexican colonel, one of Santa Anna's right-hand guys. Another guy, Mauricio Zatarain, he was another, he played Colonel Jose Batras, another one of the Mexican generals in the movie. And our new rookie is Miss Elena Hurst. She comes all the way from New York for us to be here. She married Santa Anna in the movie, and she was a Tejana inside the Alamo. Dr. Greg Dimmick is our archaeologist. He's done a lot of archaeological work down at San Jacinto and in the Sea of Mud. And then the historian on the film was Dr. Stephen Harden. He was basically right there behind John Lee Hancock, the director, telling him what and what could not basically go in the movie historically. We did something new this year. We had our bell ringers, and if y'all could have been there and seen it, they were fired up. They were all wanted to answer a question and get prizes, and they love it. You know, when we first start talking about it, they kind of think, you know, this kind of sounds boring. People come to talk to you, but every year they come back to us and they enjoy it and they love it and they wish they could come back always.
Well, Sandy, I think it's very important that we remember that.
Remember what?
Remember the Alamo. Well, recently, Bryan officials put together a presentation detailing our future water use for many years. The city of Bryan, along with the rest of Brazos and Robertson counties, make up the Brazos Valley Water Conservation District. The district is led by a group of 8 individuals that form the board of the district. College Station City Hall hosted the last district meeting of 2011 in December. At the meeting, Public Works Director Jason Barfnick and a Bryan consultant gave a presentation on Bryan's water use, the city's water infrastructure, Bryan's water conservation efforts, and the projected future water use for Bryan residents. Bryan's future use is important as the area will continue to grow, so that means conservation now is critical.
In 2006, we adopted a water conservation plan, and then that was recently revised in November of 2011. And then in 2002, we adopted a drought contingency plan, and then we amended that in 2005. Public education and outreach under water conservation. We've distributed over 1,000 flyers on both water conservation and water-wise landscaping at 4 community events and 5 homeowners associations.
Well, Alan, if I'm not mistaken, didn't I see that presentation on Channel 16?
You probably did, yeah. Since it was part of the Brazos Valley Water Conservation District's meeting, we thought we'd cut out that presentation and put it on Channel 16 by itself.
Well, we told you earlier about the Reading Awareness campaign in the district. Here's a look at a couple of PSAs that we created to promote that campaign.
Reading develops the foundation for a child to become a lifelong learner. 26% of children who were read to 3 to 4 times in the last week by a family member recognize all letters of the alphabet. Be the one to give your child a solid foundation by reading to them daily.
Reading develops the foundation for a child to become a lifelong learner. The U.S. Department of Education found that generally, the more students read for fun on their own time, the higher their reading scores. Be the one to give your children a solid foundation by reading to them daily.
Well, that's all the time we have for you on this episode of Bryan Living and Learning. I'm Alan Brugman.
And I'm Sandy Ferris. Thanks for watching.